Hey guys, welcome back. I feel like those are so... Oh my goodness, my glasses. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I started the Claim Your Power 40 Days challenge, I don't know what you want to call it, and I did day one yesterday, so I wanted to touch base and talk about basically my reflections from day one and the concept, because I don't know how the rest of the 40 days are going to be, but I felt like yesterday was a big breakthrough and a really important thing to discuss going forward with everything I'm going to be talking about this month to kind of like refresh what's going on internally with me. So yeah, I just had like the longest couple of days of cat sitting for Thanksgiving. It's November 28th. I am trying to get my apartment back together because it's like a legit disaster from cooking Thanksgiving dinner and just from being so busy. Like I haven't been able to do any really chores around the house. I am gonna do some laundry. So I thought while I'm doing laundry, I would chat with you guys and kind of just update you on what I got out of the first day of the 40 days. Do you ever wait so long to put away your laundry that you literally don't even have that much clean laundry anymore because you've worn everything that you already washed? Because that's what's going on with me. I've already like worn half of the stuff I washed like a week and a half ago. So won't be actually too bad, but I really need to already do laundry again. We're gonna sit here, fold some laundry, and chat. And I'm gonna put on my glasses because I feel kind of weird without them right now. So basically day one was all about this concept of where you're dead in your life. The book puts a comparison between where you feel stuck and says that feeling stuck is the same as being dead, because if you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're not living, so you're basically just dead. And I honestly really liked this analogy because I feel like being stuck implies, okay, these are glaring way too much, sorry. Being stuck feels like there's something I should be doing differently. Like I shouldn't feel stuck, like it's my own fault, which isn't to say that these things aren't my own fault, but I think going forward and trying to grow, the first step is acceptance and just overall understanding and being honest with where you're at and like what the issues are. So this day was all about just admitting and being super honest with yourself about where you are dead in your life. So I wanted to talk about the areas that I currently feel dead in my life and then go through the questions that were asked that I was supposed to journal out. The 4 questions that I will be going through for each of these categories are: what survival patterns, which is a concept talked about in the book, have you been using to basically not allow yourself to admit that you were feeling dead in this area of your life? When was the first time you felt dead in this area? How has remaining dead benefited my survival? The book talks about how biologically we will choose the safe route for our own survival. Like our survival mechanisms will pick up and tell us to stay stuck if it's a safer option, or your body and mind perceive it as a safer option. And then number 4, are there any relationships in your life that support you staying dead in this area? Basically people that are bringing you down. So I will not be answering number 4 for these questions because it's obviously a little bit personal and I don't want to be sharing that, even though genuinely the answers that I did put for these I think are much more my I'm perceiving it as people want me to stay dead or don't want me to grow in these areas in the way I want to, and it's less that they actually aren't supporting me growing in these areas, if that makes sense. I definitely grew up caring a lot about what other people thought of me and worrying a lot about other people and how my actions affect others, which if you watched the video I posted recently, I mentioned how my sister has a drug addiction and it has definitely affected a lot of my life and my family's life, and because of that I grew up very aware of how much my decisions affect other people, because I saw how my sister's decisions affected me and my mom and other people as well. So that is why I'm super aware of it, which to an extent is a good thing because it is good to be, you know, caring and aware of how you affect other people. But when it becomes a problem is when it debilitates you from doing anything that you want to do, or you're perceiving something to actually affect someone else in an extreme way when it really actually doesn't affect them. Long story short, I won't be answering number 4. First of all, number 1, which is probably very apparent if you have been watching my channel for the past few months, I'm feeling very dead in my career. I think the reason for that overall is just that my expectation that I had set for myself and what I thought I wanted in my life, what I ended up doing didn't live up to that expectation. That's kind of why I'm feeling very dead, very stuck, but it's also because, like I've talked about before, I quit my job and we had moved to to DC for the job I was in. There was no other reason why I moved here. I mean, I was excited to live in a city and I was excited to like try out living in DC, but the reason for moving here was specifically for my job. So now that I'm not in the job, it just kind of makes me feel very stuck because we don't want to stay here. Until our lease ends, we are stuck here. So in terms of career, I really can't do anything extensive to get a different job unless I want to work remotely, which I don't want to do. In the future, I might, but right now, I don't want that. I'm a homebody. I like spending time at home, so I don't really want to be at home 40 hours a week. And then the time I relax, like I like relaxing at home. I don't want to go out after work to like decompress. Anyways, I'm feeling very stuck, very dead in my career. So the survival patterns that I saw myself using as a way to not admit that I was feeling dead in this area was just the concept of if I change my career, I won't be making any money and people will judge me and I will be a disappointment to others. So I definitely have found since leaving my job that I feel as if me not doing engineering is a disappointment to other people in my life. So I have really been trying to work through that because my career and what I do for a living should not disappoint anyone else. It's my life, first of all, and if it's supporting me and the people I need to support, then that's the end of the story. But it's something I'm working on, and it's definitely something that my past trauma has affected. So I think it's really good that I'm admitting it through this journaling exercise. Changing my career won't make me any money. I definitely told myself growing up that engineering was the right path because I would be able to easily get a job and make money right out of college and make good money to be able to support people in my family, specifically my nephews. When I was in high school, I thought that there was a pretty high chance I was going to end up raising my nephews after I graduated college. Because of that, I was very focused on the fastest way for me to make a good, high quality income to raise children immediately out of school. And like I've talked about in my like why I quit my job video, and I haven't really mentioned it much since, I was still subconsciously acting as if I was going to have to raise children that weren't my children soon, like that I was going to have no option and I was going to have to raise children. That's just not the case. My cousins adopted my 2 nephews. They are taken care of. There's no weight on my shoulder regarding that anymore. So it's something that I definitely want to work to let go of, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. Being aware of it has definitely helped a lot, but yeah, it's just still something I'm working through. So the first time I felt dead in the career category, I thought this was really interesting when I thought about it because I do remember a lot of times my freshman year of college feeling very unsatisfied in my degree. And I've talked before that I changed my degree multiple times, but I never really fully felt satisfied in my degrees. And I genuinely felt as if I didn't really know why I was in college except for the fact that I wanted to be able to get a good job quickly and make money. Like that was the main reason, which like, of course, I'm sure that's a reason for a lot of people, but I talked so early on in my college years about being unhappy and not wanting to do engineering and wanting to do something more creative, but I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how to do it. I had scholarships to go to college, so I just stuck it through. And again, I knew it would make me money. So really it was freshman year of college that I kind of first realized that going the path I was going down was making me feel stuck as a person because I didn't see myself growing in the role of an engineer. I saw myself growing in many other aspects of my life. But besides that, I think it became very clear I was feeling dead and stuck in my career when I was about a few months into my 9-to-5 job, if I'm being honest. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that there was something wrong and this was not it, and I was feeling not good. And how has remaining dead benefited my survival? Obviously, continuing the path I was on helped to support me financially, and it kept others from affecting my self-worth and my confidence by maybe looking down on my decision to leave my job and things like that. So definitely, I would say the top one is the financial situation, because obviously that job paid the bills very well. Although I was, like I've said, like living in a way more expensive area because of the job, and also spending a lot more money because I was so stressed. In hindsight, I'm so curious to see a year or two from now, whatever I'm doing to make money, like what my finances look like compared to what my finances were when I was like in my job, because I do feel that I really blew a lot of money just because of stress. So the next category that I feel dead in is my friendships. friendships. And if you're one of my friends watching, please hear me out. I've already talked to like most of you about this anyway, so just it's not because of you guys specifically. It's because I don't have any of my close friends around me right now in real life. All of my friendships are truly virtual. I FaceTime people all the time, like all the time. I really like connection, like human connection a lot, even though I'm like very introverted. I like to talk to people. So I will call people a lot when I'm in the car and things like that. And I like talking to others a lot. But again, all of my friendships are virtual and that's not enough for me. And I genuinely don't think that's enough for anyone. I think everyone needs in-person relationships. We need to be able to physically see people to be fulfilled on a human connection level. That's my opinion. I've been feeling very dead in that category, and I have not felt like it was worth my time to really invest in relationships up here because I knew we weren't going to be here long term. Also, I think I've discussed this before, but I feel like the social scene in DC just doesn't really fit me as a person. I feel it's a lot harder for me to find people that like to do similar things as me. I don't like going out. I don't like going to events. I don't like group gatherings, and that is pretty much all I've ever been invited to since living here, and I don't like any of that stuff. The friends I have made up here, I have felt comfortable enough to communicate with, like that I don't feel comfortable doing those things, and I have found ways to connect with some people more on a one-on-one level, which is much more my speed, which has helped. But overall, I just think that I need to invest in some in-person friendships wherever I am, and the hard thing is now we know we're moving in March, so I don't really have an urge to like try to make friends because I'm literally leaving soon, and like the last thing I need is more long distance friends, although I'm always open for them. I don't need any more long distance friends, but like I'm not closed off to the idea. Anyways, so survival patterns for this one, I would say that I have a really big fear that people won't like me, that they won't agree with my beliefs, or that we won't get along because of that. I think right now the way the world is, it's very scary to meet new people because everyone is very on edge about literally everything, and I have a lot of fear about that. I've mentioned before I'm a Christian, and I'm very scared about other people's reactions to that. I think there's a lot of assumptions that can come from being a Christian about who someone is just because of their religious affiliation. That really scares me, and I'm very afraid of sharing more of myself when I meet people. So I think that's another issue of mine that definitely is supported by pretending everything's okay when it comes to my friendships, and that like I don't need, like I've said multiple times in the past year, like I don't need any more friends. Like I love the friends I have, they're just far away, so I'll just like FaceTime them and that'll be enough for me. But it's not enough. It's really not. I have Kim here, which is amazing. Like she's my one in-person really good friend that I have in DC, and I'm so grateful I have her here. But again, I am going to be moving soon. Also on top of that, I think it would still be really helpful for me to have multiple friends in one area. I don't want to just have one friend, because if your friend's busy, then you have no one. I really do value in-person connection, so I need more than one friend. I need people in different times of their life as well, so I can like relate to people on different levels. I say this all the time to other people, but different people are in your life for different reasons, which is why me being married and living with my husband, like he is my best friend, but he can't fully be there for me in every single way. That's just not realistic, and it would be unhealthy of me to expect him to meet all of my needs on a human connection level. He just can't do that, and I don't think anyone should do that. I don't think you should expect one friend or one partner to meet all of those needs. There's different people in your life for different reasons, so I want to have a larger group of people that I can go to for different things, whether it's like fun things like hobbies, or it's for needs emotionally when I need to talk about things, etc. The great thing about moving back to Florida is we will have our family there, and I do have an older sister who lives in Florida. I'm pretty close with her, so it will be nice to actually be able to go see her in person, as well as Oliver's sister and her husband. They live in Florida as well, and then of course I'll have my mom, and I do have some friends who live in Florida still, so I'll have more people around. So yeah, that will be really nice. But first time I felt dead in this area is definitely when I moved to DC and realized that all my friendships were virtual. When I was in college, I had multiple friends and I felt very comfortable with that. I had Cindy and I had Sabrina in person with me for most of my years in college. Those were my two best friends. And then I also had Oliver, and those three together genuinely like met all of the needs I had when it came to in-person friendships. But now, of course, Cindy's in South Korea. Sabrina does live in Florida right now, so it will be nice to be closer to her. But she lives in South Florida, which we're not planning on being anywhere near South Florida. So it'll still be like more than a few hour drive to go see her. So, you know, it'll still be nice though. I haven't seen her. When's the last time I saw her? I haven't seen her since I moved to DC. It's been way too long. I miss her a lot. Let's see what's next. How has remaining dead benefited my survival in this category? It's definitely kept me from feeling rejected or unloved by new friends or like misunderstood. I have this fear of being misunderstood. I really have this like innate need inside of me to have other people understand me, and that is always the fear of making new friends for me, is that they're gonna not understand me or I'm gonna have a hard time, because a lot of my past trauma in my life does affect me a lot, and having to tell someone that you like just met like, oh, my sister's in prison, like it's not like it really goes over super well. Not that anyone's ever like reacted bad, but it's just kind of an uncomfortable conversation, versus a lot of my friends that I already have, they grew up with me and they know that this is stuff I've been going through my entire life. So for them, it's very normal and comfortable, and it doesn't feel like such a big deal to talk about. I don't like when I tell people and they're like, oh my gosh, like what happened? Like, and they make a huge deal about it, because like it's literally just my life. Like it's always been my life. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. So the third category is family, and that is an area I feel very dead in, and that is just because I feel that I have been running away from being near my family since I went to college because of all the stuff I went through. I really wanted my own space and independence, and I wanted to, for once in my life, feel like I could put myself first. But the reality is that I don't want to be someone who's always like putting myself first and putting myself above other people. Of course, I need to be at a place where I'm like mentally okay, but I do want to have healthy relationships with people in my family. I love my family to death, and I just feel like I've gotten very distant from my family, even though I do like talk to like a lot of my family a lot, but also like my extended family, like they all live in Florida as well, and I really enjoy being around for like holidays and stuff like that, and it's really hard to do it when you live this far away. But I really value family. It's like definitely one of my top values that I intend to keep as a core value of mine, is just family as a whole. I mean, again, it makes sense. Like I want to be a mom really bad, so of course I value family, right? So first time I felt this, definitely like freshman year of college, when I went away and like lived on my own for the first time and started being independent and fully supporting myself. I definitely saw myself subconsciously trying to make distance between me and my family, and I think it was a big factor of me wanting to move up north as well. Is like I just wanted that space, but I realized that I don't actually want the space. I was like subconsciously wanting it because I thought maybe it would help, but the reality is that adding distance doesn't solve your problems and it doesn't heal your trauma. Like the only thing that heals your trauma is literally working through it, which is what I'm trying to do with this whole 40-day challenge. And how did it benefit my survival? So continuing to feel strong by keeping myself distant and closed off, and also the potential to keep me from potential further trauma. I think I've really equated the concept of being near family as causing me trauma, but I don't think that that's the case. The reality is I want to be there for my sister and I want to be around. I want to be able to visit her. I've only visited her a handful of times since she went to prison because I just haven't prioritized doing that. And now obviously I live far away, so it's a lot harder to visit her, but like I see her maybe once a year. I do try to talk to her on the phone a lot, video calls, messages, stuff like that, emails and letters, but I definitely have not prioritized it because again, like I'm trying to like keep myself safe. For me, I think I've equated keeping myself safe as being strong. And yeah, I talked about the whole concept of like strong in my other video, so I won't go into that anymore. So the next category is faith. I definitely have been putting off my faith and really distancing myself from it since I moved to DC. I would say that's when it became extremely obvious to me that I was doing this. And I think that, how do I put this into the words? I think the older I've gotten, the more I have realized that my faith journey is my own and it's very independent of other people, and trying to balance that where I feel like I'm really putting time into my faith because I want to and not because of what other people want me to do has definitely been a balance or a struggle that I'm going through. I would say the way this has like kept me alive, and for question 3, I would say it's kept me thinking small and focused on my daily survival instead of the greater picture. That's been a huge struggle for me, which I think makes sense in some ways because as the world has gone the way it's gone the past few years, it's very normal, I would say, for us to be so focused on daily survival and getting through each day, as well as when I've been very stressed. I find that when I'm going through a lot, I tend to draw away from my faith and draw away from God versus go closer because I'm so trying to just be focused on just getting through each day, and I have a lot of troubles with sleep and focus. Yeah, it doesn't make it easy to have a good routine with things, which for me, my faith and my relationship with God has always been stronger when I have good routines set, as well as the fact that I haven't been able to go to church in person really at all since I moved to DC. So that definitely doesn't help either. But yeah, that's definitely one that I am very aware of is dead in my life. And then the last one I'm not going to share because it's regarding my relationship with Oliver, and I try my hardest for his sake to keep that very private. But yeah, nothing's like bad. We're totally fine. The thing that it's relating to, I would say, it's all about me, and the issue is really regarding my past relationship trauma and how it has affected my relationship with Oliver. And that's pretty much the extent I'll go into it, but I've really realized in the past few years that as much as I thought I was not affected by my previous relationships, I really was, and they really have hurt me. I don't know the right words. I was in a very long-term relationship when I was very young. I started dating someone when I was 13 years old, and we broke up when I was 17. We dated for over 4 years. Those are very formative years, and we disagreed on a lot of things, and it was a very hard relationship. I was a kid, of course, so a lot of it was like fun and lighthearted, but there was also a lot of parts of it that were very hard. And I think the biggest thing that I've realized is when we broke up, I didn't mourn at all. What I did mourn was the fact that this person was my best friend, because I had literally grown up with him like from 13 to 17, and I hung out with him all the time when I was those ages. So I definitely mourned the friendship, but I didn't mourn the relationship. For a very long time, I thought it was because I felt relief from the relationship that it was over, because it did cause a lot of pain for me. There was a lot of hard things regarding our relationship because we were such different people. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that I didn't mourn the relationship because I pushed it down. And it goes with the same thing with my family trauma. I thought I was being strong or something by like not mourning it, but in reality I was just ignoring it, and that has definitely resurfaced. And the pain, not from losing him as a partner, because again, like I said, like I knew we weren't right together and it was 100% the best decision. Like we both knew it was time, but there's a lot of things from the relationship that really affected me and have caused me to be the way that I am now in relationships. So it's something I'm really working on. I'm sure anyone who's been in multiple like longer term relationships can relate. I think we all bring stuff and bring baggage from previous relationships and experiences. I think I've just been very in denial about it for a very long time, and this past year it has been something that I've been trying to be honest about and work through and be aware of, so that I'm not projecting previous problems and previous traumas onto my current relationship, because that is like the last thing that I want to do. I feel like I talked about that way more than I was planning on. I mean, I didn't really go into super detail, but still. So those are my 5 categories that I have felt very dead in, I would say, in the last year. Those are the things that I think from reading the intro of the book that I will be focusing on in the next 40 days on working through. I thought this would be a great thing to share, just to tell you guys the genuine raw parts of my life right now that just aren't going well, that I'm really trying to work on. And they're all internal struggles that I'm trying to work through. It's really what I want to focus this next month on, going through these internal struggles and actually taking the time to heal and work towards healing. It's not like a perfect process, of course, while I have the time to. My goal is that I want to be focusing on my internal stuff in the month of December and obviously a little bit into the month of January. And then January and February, I have 2 things I want to be focusing on. I haven't decided in which order I want to do this yet, but I think January I'm going to be super focused on just having fun and enjoying my time in DC while I can. I want to go to some of the museums that I haven't been to. I want to see some of the things I haven't seen yet and just basically make like a bucket list and experience as much as I can of DC while I still live here. And then in February, I'm going to be super focused on decluttering my physical space and basically purging as much stuff that I don't need and just making sure that the things that I bring with me when we move are very intentional things that I really care about, and just again bring back that like fresh start feeling when we move. I want to hype it up as much as I can so that it's exciting, because I am going to be really happy to move, but I know I'm also going to be sad. That's my plan for February. And then once I move, then obviously March I think will be really transitionary and just a mess. So I'll definitely be posting a lot of content regarding moving and how everything's going and packing and unpacking vlogs and all of that stuff. And then April will be super focused on my habits and routines and my systems and getting all of that in order, as well as figuring out what I want to do in regards to my job. We haven't even fully decided if we're going to try to move directly from an apartment in DC to an apartment in Florida, or if we're going to stay with family for a little bit first. So I think how all of that goes is definitely going to depend on what we end up doing with where we live. But I don't even know why I'm giving you guys the rundown of all of this right now, but that's basically it. Those are the things I'm feeling dead in. That's what I'm going to be working on. I'm excited to go through all of this with you guys, and yeah, let me know in the comments below if you resonated with any of this, if there's anything you're specifically feeling dead in as well. It would be encouraging to hear what others are feeling a little bit lost or stuck or dead, as the book calls it, in. And if you are also going through the 40-day book with me, then let me know in the comments below. Let's encourage each other. But that's all I have for you guys in this one. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.